Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. Before we actually get into the main part of the clip, I would like to kind of give a 30-second preview of what this is about. This is gonna be so far you've just heard me talking about inclusion, inclusion this, inclusion that. We should do this, we should do that. So I thought since it was Teachers Day on Sunday, let's do something different. So I decided to have a short interaction with some of my teachers with whom I've spent the longest time at school, so who know me really well. So and get their thoughts on what they think about inclusion, as well as ask some of the other questions that many people I've seen have about inclusion, about, for example, me being blind and stuff like that. And so in this video, this is kind of like a 20-minute short discussion with them, where they'll tell me something about their thoughts, and I'll keep asking questions. And so that's what this basically is. So without wasting further time, I will now let the recording play. So yeah, let's get into it. Hello everyone, and welcome back to another video. Today, with me, I have some very special guests. People who've been by my side ever since I was a little one, holding my hand, sometimes letting me find my own way, and making me into the person I am today through their constant guidance, wisdom, and mentoring. So, from the bottom of my heart, a deep gratitude to you, my teachers, and with folded hands, I wish you a very happy Teachers' Day. So, and now I welcome Ritu ma'am, Rinku ma'am, Manika ma'am, and Shalini ma'am to the video. Good evening, ma'am.
Thank you.
Good
Thank you,
evening,
Arush.
Arush.
Good evening.
The goal of this video will be to further demystify inclusion when it comes to the life of a blind student through a few questions I have mostly heard or observed people having. Now, let us get started with the discussion. So, the first question is, what, according to you, is inclusion?
Okay, I want to come in first, Arush.
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel inclusion is all about creating equal opportunities. God has created us equal, and we need to replicate God somewhere. We need to imitate God somewhere. So the same kind of equal platform, equal opportunities is what inclusion can be seen as, can be termed as. And then secondly, I feel the acceptance of limitations. Now, when I refer that God has created us equal, simultaneously I say limitations also. Now, this could be limitations of physical, it could be limitations of mind, but I feel somewhere acceptance of those limitation is inclusion. So we are able, love and respect moves the world. So loving and respecting any person, a human being, is inclusion for me.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
May I add in something?
Yes.
Arush,
Yes, ma'am.
I would say for inclusion, I would say is empathy. All right. And it's like understanding each student's needs and perspectives without any bias judgment. That's what I feel inclusion is.
Okay,
Thank you,
since both the ma'ams have spoken almost everything about what we all feel as teachers. So Arush, I will also just add a few points here. So I would say inclusion, like ma'am said, empathy, Ritu ma'am said God. I would say, yeah, it is like looking at or accepting the soul. So rather than having those boundaries of differences, abilities, disabilities, if we can look past that and we can look at the soul of a person and understand that we can provide them those opportunities which make them succeed. So it's like custom made for each one. So it should be that way. So that is my way of looking at it.
Yeah, Arush, inclusion for me is that environment and space where whoever wants to be a part of it is welcomed. It could be a learning space, it could be a playing space, or it could be a place of work. If I'm interested, I am keen, and I can participate, I have the willingness, I should be welcomed. That means I am including people irrespective of, you know, their limitations. So I give them an opportunity to explore that space just like everybody else.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so the next question is, are your expectations from a blind student any different from a sighted student, and are they able to live up to those expectations?
Arush, I would like to come in here.
Okay, ma'am.
A teacher has an expectation from herself. She doesn't single out any of the 40 children in the class. Now, how her expectation is different from different people varies, like when she's preparing herself to enter a class. Let me tell you, she has a lot of apprehensions. She has a lot of inhibitions.
Yeah, I think I would agree with Ritu ma'am here, because expectations from each student is different, because everyone has different skills, abilities, strengths and weaknesses. And of course, it is the teacher's duty for us to ensure that we unlock the maximum potential in each child. So of course, those apprehensions are there, what she rightly said.
And sometimes I think those apprehensions are the ones which are taken as maybe the teacher is expecting something less from that particular child. But in fact, the teacher is actually struggling with herself so as to find out a way where she knows that this child or that child is able to meet that like standard or the success that she plans for them. So probably it's the teacher who's going through all that. She has an expectation from herself, rather than, I think, having some special expectations from these students. She has to somewhere come to those planning and execution where she's able to cater to the success of each child.
Just want to add one more line over here with Rinku ma'am's thought. Actually, the teacher is going through the same thing as the student may be going through. Now, the student feels whether the teacher will accept me or not. Let me tell you, it is the other way around. The teacher feels the same, whether my students are going to accept me or not. Over to you, Manika ma'am.
Right? But as teachers, we definitely, want to create an environment which is happy for the children, where there is learning as per the interest of the child. And that is what we keep exploring. We just do not have a fixed structure of expectations. Yes, I may be limited in my thought and experience of how difficult or how easy is the world if I keep my eyes closed, right? Because that's your ability. You can experience a lot more. I can't experience, so I may be very limiting in my approach to a person who may not be able to see, because I don't have the experiences. And this is where I personally feel I have grown with you, to ask, to find, each time building an environment where you could actually express yourself and your needs, what is interesting you, where you find difficulty. So I think so as teachers, our expectations are never in a rigid framework. They are always flexible, and the teacher is trying to explore and deliver to the best of her abilities depending on what the child is seeking or what the child wants to explore further. So it keeps building as per the responses the teacher gets from the child. So I may be limiting myself when it comes to expectations, but the moment I start exploring the child and I see, oh, this is working well, so let me just push it a little bit more. And that's when I try and explore and change my expectations from a particular scenario or a particular learning experience. So for us also, it is very dynamic. It is not constant.
I agree.
Thank you.
Whatever you said is like very precise.
Okay.
Yes,
So,
Arush, please carry on.
so many people think that blind people are very dependent and they require assistance like in whatever they do. So what are your thoughts and what do you think is the reason for this misconception?
Okay. I'm really fascinated by this word misconception itself. I think
Exactly. And myth.
the answer lies in your question only, that it is a misconception. So the question itself is that whether people have certain kind of biases. Let me tell you, people change, society changes. There may be certain mindset, but then we become progressive as the day begins. As you know, you meet people, your thoughts change, your feelings change. And let me tell you, you have made me a better human being. Why? Because you or your friends around, when I saw them, the kind of camaraderie that you people have between yourself, among yourselves, that is what gave me an insight. Life is all about this thing, where we are holding each other's hand. Life is all about being together, where we are actually blind to anybody's limitations. So when I see little children, actually that is where the learning happens for me. You just look at them, the way they behave, and the way they interact with each other. There are no biases at all. And this is what, as adults, we learn this. So I do not
Yes.
think any which way that the society has any kind of discrimination between any such kind of handicap. And just now I gave you one example that I may be good at my oratory skills, but then I am a handicap at mathematics. So Arush, one question to you, would you accept me as I am? If the answer is yes, I openly welcome you as much as that only. Thank you. Over to
Thank
you,
you.
Shalini
Right.
ma'am.
I think most of it you've already said. We are basically underestimating the potential of the child. Now we see one portion and we leave the other side. So it's always better. We should overcome our apprehensions and anxiety. And I think hand holding is something like we are increasing the dependency of the child. So I think motivation is the key to wean this dependency.
So
Always
it's
motivate the
basically
children.
the mindset, isn't it, ma'am?
Yes, it's
As
a
you said,
mindset.
mindset. Like,
Yes.
but I feel there are people who are with that mindset because we might have experience being with Arush and all. So probably we have that as an eye opener somewhere, and we have changed our thinking and the mindset. That day I was watching a video. There was a lady who was cooking in the kitchen, and she couldn't. She was visually challenged, ma'am. She was not able to see anything. The way she cooked the whole breakfast, and you would not be able to tell any difference between any person who's like well equipped with sight and that lady. Really, that day I just felt that when we think of them as they are incapable, that is, I think,
Yeah.
our shortcoming, not theirs. So I feel they're not dependent. And nowadays I think with a lot of first is their grit, I would say, definitely, but then with a lot of technology nowadays, I feel they are as independent as any person with a proper sight. So they're not totally
Absolutely.
dependent on everybody, I guess.
And those changes I have seen Arush. I've seen Arush grow right from a child where Braille and all. Even we all learned the same thing
Yes,
along
ma'am.
with him.
Yes.
And
He has played
Arush,
a very crucial role in changing our mindset, actually.
yes,
So I would say that.
actually, yes. Yes.
But I'll tell you, I want to share one recent experience with Arush. You know,
Yes, ma'am.
he's been posting links, and he had a game set for all the people who were accessing that link. So
Okay.
I participated in that, and I was bogged down with the speed of speech that he listens to, which was like,
Yes, yes. I
like that.
remember. Yeah, ma'am. Even I tried that. Yes, yes. Yes, Manika, ma'am.
And he had played it really slow for us. At that
Yes.
moment, it struck me that yes, there was more to explore. While Arush was there in class 5 with, I was only exploring myself. What more can I
Yes.
do with him? Had I
Yes.
just reversed, what more can I learn from Arush? I would be better equipped in, handling the situation. I thought I was, trying to find out and do things best way so that my entire class was together. Not that I was doing it specially for Arush, but it would be something so that every 30, 35 students sitting in the class was together on whatever was being transacted. The day I played that game, I realized, Arush, that I should have spent more time finding out how I could, make it a more magical experience in the class for all of us.
Did you observe, Arush, one thing? You have
Huh.
put all the teachers into a race, meeting up to your expectations now. Did you just observe?
Yes.
Ma'am, I think so. This is what, we're trying to be best and trying to come up. No, jokes apart. When all of us are sharing, we're learning what next we should not do and what next we should up our performance, right?
Very
Because
true, very true.
as teachers, we too want to excel like anybody in this world, right? And
Yes.
our limitations, with our limitations of not having an experience of how smart I can be with my eyes closed, I don't have that experience. I have to get that experience before I can be an authority on telling what
Yes. Yes.
somebody with less vision can do, So as teachers, we also, tread on the ground where we know less very, very carefully. That sometimes can be interpreted as not, like, for example, if for the first time I was experiencing somebody with very low vision, I would try and hold that child's hand while the child is in the ground, because I'm thinking of safety, physical safety. But somewhere in the physical safety, I may just be taking away the freedom because he himself or she himself
Wants
may be
to
very
move around.
confident
Yeah.
in moving around with, that low vision, because that is something what they have experienced, they have practiced, and they have become skilled at. But my own limitation may, be a barrier in letting go of my fears.
Yes.
Arush,
So, what advice do you have for people to make themselves and their environments inclusive?
To make the environment conducive and inclusive, just to realize and let the divinity unfold. Because there are so many things which is beyond our comprehension. Now, we were talking about that we do not have the experience of closing our eyes and living a day. But let me tell you, Arush, what you can see with your closed eyes, I sometimes envy. I cannot really see with my eyes open. So there I feel I do not know what the master plan could be with my little wisdom. So I would really allow the divinity to be unfold. Thank you. Over to you, Shalini ma'am.
I'll come back to the same point that first is, of course, practice empathy. And we should, advice which you are saying, I would say that we should approach all situations with an open mind and not rush to judgments before we actually get to know the person. Because normally what happens when you know a child with special needs is that you immediately close yourself. So that, I think, should not be done. We should be open and we should approach the situations how, in whatever way it comes. And of course, learn to listen to them. Sometimes they have so much to share, so we should be, open and listen to what they are trying to say across.
I would say, ma'am, like, it's not that every teacher in the school, Arush, would be like what we are saying, and you feel that everyone is the same. But I'll say that sometimes when people, they show their disinterest or maybe their apprehensions, it's because probably they are not equipped themselves for handling any such situation. So they're afraid of failure probably, so they don't want to try it even. So I think emulating that in front of others, like if we understand, if we emulate that behavior in front of 70 odd children or 150 students in the assembly or somewhere, I think it gets into their thinking. So it starts changing the mindset. So we should try that. I think whatever is, we have to be the role models. Every time we find that there is somebody who's not ready to understand, is not ready to be open to these kind of students or children or people around, I think if we understand, like Shalimam said, if we have empathy and if we understand that these are not the limitations we should focus on, so then I think things will begin to change. They have changed to a greater extent, I guess. But yes,
they have.
Still there is lot to do.
Completely agree with what each one of us has voiced. And maybe I'm saying the same thing in a different way. But having good conversations like this is very important, because it's not only understanding the feelings or expectations of another, it's also understanding the fears that somebody may be having, right? So good non-judgmental conversations between educationists, students, parents, this should be an ongoing process which will educate people about the abilities. We are aware of the disability part of it, but we are not aware of the ability part of individuals, because we have less people who are visually impaired around us. So our education related to them is limited. With limited education, there is less execution. It is, I have to educate myself, like we all learned Braille gradually because you were there. We learned how to slowly make you free and independent without the fears intact in our hearts. Okay, stairs. And gradually, when Rinku ma'am must have seen you running after your father, then the confidence increased many more folds. So we treaded very cautiously, right? So my only concluding thought on this is that if we have more conversations, what you started now, if children like, visually impaired could generate these conversations all across wherever they exist. Secondly, putting thought-provoking questions. So somewhere on Teachers' Day, acting like a teacher, I put a little bonus on you, Arush, to generate this kind of dialogue and invite people so that through these conversations, we know each other and move ahead to a more inclusive world. Because I completely agree. It is our lack of knowledge which actually creates misconceptions, myths, and we only limit ourselves by focusing on the disability and not the ability part.
And I would like to say, I think the school has played a very important role, the heads who have actually helped us out in, training us and motivating us as teachers to, include
Challenging
everyone
us.
and everybody. Yes, yes. And change our strategies, trying new ways. And the school has played an equally important role, I would say.
Nothing could have been possible without the
Possible
school,
without.
because yes,
No, but
we
yes.
all are under the school. If the no matter what our intention, it too would get limited if we did not have the motivation and the insights. You know, the very fact that our school decided to go on a journey of having such talented children as you, I think so they started focusing on the ability that existed in you.
Thank you, ma'am. So that brings us to the end of the video. So as you guys heard, all it really takes is to take the first step. And as I've mentioned in the previous videos, and now you've heard it from my teachers, that it's challenging, but it's certainly not impossible. So all you have to do is, with an open mind, just challenge yourself a little bit and be confident. And I'm sure that that inclusion will it will automatically happen when you take the first step, because many people don't do that, and that's the one thing that I feel is missing. So a big thank you to all my teachers who took time out of their busy schedule and made this video a success. And to the rest of you out there who are listening, I hope this video proves to be informative, and I'll see you all in the next video. Thank you.